Greetings and welcome to Office Hours with Dr. G. I'm your host, Dr. G, and I'm so glad that you can keep our appointment. Tonight, I am pleased to bring to you once again Consul General Lamont Maurice L., who will be presenting The People Will Be Tested by Their Works and the Traitors Will Be Revealed. Welcome once again to Office Hours with Dr. G, Consul General Lamont Maurice L. It's always an honor and a privilege to have a conversation with you. Of course, we have conversations offline. We get, those moments of downloads when we get to chatting about things. But tonight, we are actually doing a broadcast that I believe we postponed from July.
Yep.
Maybe July. I want to say July.
It was July. Yep.
It was probably July that we did not do. And you are coming on tonight to enlighten us. And, the title, my goodness, The People Will Be Tested by Their Works and Traitors Will Be Revealed. So I am sure that you're going to say some things that I'm not aware of. And I know a lot of folks probably want to know exactly what that entails. Now, I didn't talk, I used my short opening, and I didn't talk about who you are and your background. I mean, we do that all the time, and I'm going to just give time for you to actually, talk about what you are doing, because there comes a point, and this is just my take on it. There comes a point when some of the things we have to make them fade a little bit into the background of our past, so that we can, even though your past, some of the things you've done in your past are very significant to what you're doing now, because it shows a contrast. And I think you're going to talk about that, of where you were and how you were received or respected or disrespected, and to where you are now, based on you standing on your square, the knowledge that you have gained and are continuing to gain about this whole process of nationality, birthright, law, and some of the things, we just learned even recently together with regard to law. So again, welcome to Office Hours with Dr. G, and welcome to those who are watching live at eLife in Capitol Heights, Maryland, where you are doing tonight's broadcast. Shout out to all of you all there now, because normally you would be having your civics class
right
on Tuesday night. So we appreciate you all for relegating this time for Consul General to come on Office Hours with Dr. G. So you're still kind of getting the class, I would assume, and getting it up. With that, I'm going to turn it over to you and give you the floor.
Well, thank you for having me once again, Dr. G. It's always appreciated. And peace and love to everybody that's watching, that's tuned in. So first, yes, tonight would have been the civic classes. We do civic workshops every Tuesday from 7 p.m. to 9:45 here at eLife. It's off Central Avenue. The flyer can be found on www.enforcetheconstitution.org, and you will go to subscribe for workshops. And the admission is $25, and 25 at the door, or you can do Cash App, and you can also attend via Zoom if you're not local. So everybody in the world can attend if they want to, and learn civics with us. Because we're not just teaching. It's not just me teaching. It's also us training. And I was slow walking in the beginning, but kind of speeded it up, especially because of the activity that I myself and others that I've been working with have been involved in lately. So we are the official. When I say we, I'm speaking of Brother Rob, Vargas, and I are the official owners of the company called Freedom Outdoor Range and Training Academy. Yes, that's it.
That's a long title, but yeah.
Yeah. So I'm gonna make it easier. what I'm gonna do is I'm going to, if you don't mind, do a screen share. What I'll click present.
I don't know what's got. Look, it used to say share screen. Now at the bottom.
Yeah, I see it. Yeah, I see it. Okay.
Yeah. You see that?
So let me share here. All right. Can you all see it? Is it sharing, Dr. G?
Yes, it is sharing.
Okay, so this is the website, enforcetheconstitution.org. And to get to this page, you'll click on Sunday Gun Day, because that is the day that we are doing our training courses, basic training courses. And if you want to just come up and shoot, you can do that as well. It's a safe environment, children friendly, everyone's welcome. And I have to update the flyer because it's not 25 for everyone. It's 25 for the ages 13 and up. 12 and under is $10. Well, 10 notes. Got to speak properly. And it is here at Welcome, Maryland. And there is a background to this property because, and it ties into what I wanted to talk about tonight, because once upon a time, it was another gentleman that was doing the firearm training up there with the community. But last year they had gotten a permit, and it was granted last year, but then this year they did a big annual event that they had scheduled, and they denied the permit. So I was always there, with others, and we were promoting, for the children, basically the families and the communities to come out and learn firearm safety and firearm training for the protection of their household and their loved ones, just like everyone else in the world would do that's living in a civilized society. Nevertheless, like everyone else, we're all trained that we need permits, right? And what we're teaching, a part of civics, is that the gun permit is unconstitutional. And that's why you see here on this flyer, the last bullet point, it says all gun permits are unconstitutional, and a permission license is not required to exercise a birthright. I'm sure a lot of people know that knows how to read the Second Amendment, which I'm going to go to right now. And it reads here, a well-regulated militia being necessary to the security of a free state, the right of the people to keep and bear arms shall not be infringed. That word infringe is also synonymous with trespassed upon. So the right cannot be trespassed upon. If you are being compelled to have a gun permit in order to carry around a firearm and to protect yourself and your family, then whatever law, statute, code, rule, regulation, etc., that is compelling you to do that is an actual infringement of your right to keep and bear arms. The Second Amendment does not grant a right. It protects a pre-existing right. Right is short for birthright. So that means it's unalienable. That means that lien cannot be put on it. It cannot be transferred into commerce and bought, sold, or transferred. It's unalienable. So gun permits are unconstitutional. To require someone to have a gun permit in order to, exercise a right is a conflict of interest. And the reason why the prior individuals, I'm not going to put their information out there, were removed from that location was because of the permit. Now, they were told that, and this is what I have on the screen here, is the actual order that was, or de facto order, I should say, properly, that was issued from the Circuit Court for Charles County on September 9th. It was really September 12th, but they backdated it for September 9th. And as you can see, it's speaking about where are we at? That the respondents have stated an intention to conduct firearms training activities in connection with an event scheduled to take place on the property located at, the location is blacked out, Walker, Maryland, Charles County, Maryland, which is located in the agricultural conservation zone. This is commerce. It says that the Charles County zoning ordinance only allows a rifle and pistol range or other recreational activities using weapons to be conducted within the agricultural conservation zone if the property has received a special exemption and a use and occupancy permit that has been approved by the Charles County Board of Appeals. So they're saying that in order for you to exercise a birthright, you got to have a permit from a group of individuals that you know nothing of. And that, yes, they may have an oath and obligation to uphold and support the Constitution for the United States, which includes all treaties made. Nevertheless, I, as well as others that dealt with the representatives of Charles County Circuit and District Court Incorporated, including the Charles County Sheriff Department Incorporated, they lack jurisdiction, and there has been several de facto cases that were dismissed with prejudice for lack of jurisdiction and fraud. And the website that we have proves that. So everyone is welcome to go to enforcetheconstitution.org. You can click on traffic cases, and I believe there's another case, what was it called? Criminal cases. Now, this is de facto, all right? So these aren't actual cases. So getting back to this order, this de facto order, it says, for the above reasons, the preliminary injunction is hereby granted this 9th day of September 2022 by the Circuit Court for Charles County, Maryland, and it is further ordered that discharge or shooting of any firearms by the respondents or any other person on the property in question is prohibited, but the respondents are not prohibited from having their scheduled event not involving the discharge or shooting of firearms. And it is further ordered that this injunction shall remain in full force and effect until respondents obtain the requisite special exception to conduct recreational activities using weapons. So I'm going to go, and first I'm going to give you the the timeline of what happened. September 8th, 2022. I don't know who the individuals were, but they claimed to be the county commissioners of Charles County, calling on behalf of Charles County commissioners and saying that they called the owner of the property and they called the gentleman who was conducting the activities at the property with the firing range, including his consort, his wife. And they told him that, or told all of them that they will be filing an emergency injunction hearing on September 9th, the very next day, and that once they do, they are required to come to court. And they called them the day before, September 8th. So the information was passed to me. So the consulate, as well as myself, we went up to the property because we were already going up there, supporting what he was doing, what the brother was doing, as well as, training. And so, hold on, let me get some water, mouth dry. So we went up there and we did a emergency hearing ourselves. It was a consular court emergency hearing. and it was members of our consulate as well as members of the consulate at New York, and maybe like 25, around that number. And it was recorded, and we spoke about, why the situation was taking place, because no one was nationalized. The owner wasn't nationalized at that time, and the brother was not nationalized that was hosting the events. And we explained what the owner was already hearing about it from the times that I and others have been coming up there. But we explained the importance of nationality and citizenship. We explained and showed the definition of Black Code as well as the definition of Dred Scott case in the Black's Law Dictionary, 4th and 5th edition. And we went over some constitutional and treaty protections as well as obligations. And, we gave the opportunity for everyone to be heard. And we heard from the owner. He immediately said he wanted to nationalize, and he wanted to make adverse claim to that property. So the other brother and his consort, his wife, they, refused due to, I believe, other endeavors that they had that involved the gun permits. So they respectfully declined, but they really showed a lot of respect and honor to what we were doing, especially with the other videos that we have displayed on the on our YouTube channel, Enforce the Constitution. And
for just a moment,
yes.
Just for clarity's sake, so we're talking about an owner of the property and then someone who leased or rented space on their property to conduct their gun activities. That's what we're talking about.
Right, and the owner having a de facto mortgage on the property. Yeah. Okay. So.
Okay. Mm-hmm. No, I just wanted for clarity's sake so they can know that.
Right. Yeah, everybody. Thank you for that. Yes. So as I was saying, the brother did not want to nationalize it, him and his consort, his wife, and they wanted to move forward and go to the hearing. So they went to the hearing. The brother who owned the property, he nationalized. So from September 8th to September 9th, I drafted up the documents for him from my office, and the documents being an affidavit of dispute, so that he can dispute the de facto misrepresented instrument that's titled or styled as a mortgage, which is a dead pledge. We should all know that by now, as well as the adverse claim of title and reversion of ancestral estate, which is what he would be making claim to his estate via his treaty, his secured treaty right under Article 22 of the Treaty of 1836, and as well as a memorandum of trust. But also because we already have prior records of Charles County Circuit and District Court Incorporated lacking jurisdiction, I also issued, based off of the statements that was made in the hearing, which was an ex parte hearing that we have for Brother Bell Bay. I issued a writ of error from Morocco Consular Court here at the Maryland State Republic. And so let's see how this went. September 9th, the brother and his wife went to the hearing. They were given a verbal order of what I just read that's on our website. And also September 9th, the brother Bell Bay did not go to the hearing. He knew that he didn't have to go because, he's an elder brother, and, he knows how process works. You have to be notified in writing, not called over the phone and tried, basically bullied, which is what they did. So not only that, but he also didn't go per my advice. And what happened? We issued the writ of error. So we filed it in our records, and then we went up to the Charles County Circuit Court venue to have it recorded in their records. But at 4:27, they locked the doors and they said, oh, according to our clock, is 4:30, 4:31. So, kind of a little upset about that. Nevertheless, we still provided consular jurisdiction over the weekend. That was on a Friday. So Sunday, which was, Saturday, I would say, which was September 10th, the facto Charles County Sheriff agents came to an event that the owner was having, and no one was shooting any firearms. But I think it was someone's birthday. I think it was his birthday, as a matter of fact. And they came up there. I was still on the property, so I ran over to them and I escorted them off the property. I let them know that the property is under consular jurisdiction. And they were just, like, well, we just wanted to speak to the owner. I was like, he doesn't have nothing to say to you. So long story short, got them off the property. They waited until I left, and then they came back on the property maybe like 2-3 hours later and, try to convince the people at the property that, not the owner, because he wasn't there present at the time. But, yeah, what I was saying wasn't relevant, and it wasn't true, basically. And
why did they leave?
Right. But it gets better.
Okay.
So it gets better. So they were also, from what I was told, calling the brother who was having the event and his wife phone and making threats and taunting them. Like, not necessarily making threats, but taunting them, like, hey, you going to the property? You going to go shoot today? Y'all still having the event? Things of that nature. And then Sunday came, which was the day of the event, September the 11th. He canceled the event, on his social media channel. But we still went up there, and what happened? The owner of the property said that someone from the sheriff department came up there asking about, the brother who was hosting the event and, seeing if he was there and all of that. Just basically doing little scare tactics, I'll say. And what else happened? There was a time where we were there and the Charles County Sheriff Department, was 2 of them, came, and I just so happened to have been, it's a long driveway. So I just so happened to be at the front of the driveway, walking towards the driveway, and I saw 2 cars pull up, and I stopped right in the middle of the driveway in the beginning, and they stopped, they jumped out, and, I had my officers with me, but they were spread out, but they jumped out, and one of them was, I read body language real good, so I read his body language, because he pulled right in front of me, not too close to where he was going to hit me, but I read his body language and his facial expressions, and I saw that, he didn't mean any harm. He jumped out and smiled and was like, hey, you're just the guy I need to speak to. So I'm like, what the hell are you talking about? You know what I mean? I got my glasses on, right? So I'm sizing him up, and he came. He was like, yeah, just wanted to let you know, we got a call and from the neighbors, and they were saying that, I guess you all are shooting. It's hitting some of the trees that is on his side of the property, And he pulled out something and showed the plat map lines and all of that, and showed me where the corner was. And I was like, okay, well, that's why we're building the backdrop. And, it's going to be 8 feet tall. So, we're working on the property. When the people that were there at first, they moved all their property off the property off the land, due to the intimidation and the threat from the de facto administrative clerk pretending to be a judge at Charles County Circuit Court. So we started to build on the property per the request of the owner. He said, he wanted us to keep it going for him, the Sunday gun day, and eventually it's going to be every day. And we started to build. Police came. Well, de facto Charles County Sheriff came. They were saying that the people on the other side were saying, complaining about the bullets hitting their trees. And I think he thought that we were still with the prior people, but I didn't really explain that to him, and it didn't really matter. And I just was pretty much like, okay, well, you know what, we'll respect that, but you got to get off the property. But he also said, before I said that, actually, he also said that the people that were complaining, that called them in complaint, said that there was an injunction issued for no one to be shooting at the property. He said, but I already know there's no injunction. We already checked the records. So I was like, okay, that was funny. But, you know, because it's not an injunction, it's a misrepresented instrument. It's a bill of attainder. It's an actual foreign bill of exchange offers. So, and this is going to be proof as I'm, moving forward with the story. I'm going to prove as I talk. But they eventually left. What was it? September the 12th was when they issued the physical misrepresented instrument styled as an injunction. That's what I just read. But they backdated it for September the 9th. Then they closed the case September the 13th. September the 16th, we were able to go to the venue known as the Circuit Court for Charles County, and I recorded via Bell Bay, recorded in the record the writ of error. Well, really, Bell Bay recorded the writ of error. I just assisted, as well as the adverse claim and the affidavit of dispute. Now I'm going to share again because I want everybody to know that they can go. The whole purpose of us putting this on our website is for public scrutiny. So it's public record.
Can you make it larger?
Can you all see it?
Bring it up a little bit.
To make it larger, maybe, if you can.
Oh, make it larger. Larger, okay. What about there?
That's good.
That's good. That's better.
Okay. So this is the certificate of service. So Brian David Bell Bay had to attach a certificate of service because he was the one that was affected by this record that they're calling a case, but it's not a case. It's a collusive action under color of law. So it's saying, I, Byron David Bell Bay, hereby certify that on the 16th day of September 2022, the enclosed certified copy of the writ of error and attachment, Exhibit A2, copy of the affidavit of a dispute, Exhibit B, and attachment, Exhibit B1, copy of affidavit of fact, adverse claim of title and reversion of ancestral estate, Exhibit A1, and copy of memorandum of trust was sent via hand delivery to the following recipient to be recorded in the records of de facto case number C08CV220000576 as an exercise of my secure treaty right to due process of law under consular jurisdiction per Articles 20, 21, and 22 of the Treaty of Peace and Friendship of 1836 between the United States of North America and the Moroccan Empire. And it was received by an agent for Sharon L. Hancock, who's acting as the administrative clerk, who's going by clerk of the court for the Circuit Court for Charles County. And then also he had to add the other individuals that were affected, which was Reuben B. Collins II, who's acting as commissioner president for the County Commissioners of Charles County, Inc., and Troy D. Berry, who's acting as sheriff. Now here is the certification letter from the Morocco Consular Court, and this is the file stamp copy of the writ of error that was issued in the Morocco Consular Court at the Maryland State Republic. And this is basically the written version of the ex parte hearing with Byron David Bell Bay, plaintiff, and it was against Sharon L. Hancock, Reuben B. Collins II, Edward Wesley Adams III, Elizabeth Dorothy Theobalds, if I said that wrong, excuse me, and they're all representatives of the County Commissioners of Charles County, Inc., and Sanjiv Davis, who's the foreign hybrid European male acting as chief executive officer for the Calabria Homes Loan Incorporated, which is the mortgage company, and Troy D. Berry acting as sheriff for the Charles County Sheriff Department. This is the writ of error, marked as Exhibit A, Morocco Consular Court at the Maryland State Republic, northwest of Mexham. To wit, that means that is to say. 2, these individuals who I just named, and it's regarding or in the matter of the misrepresented instrument, bill of attainder, foreign bill of exchange titled Summons, dated September 9th, 2022, filed in the de facto case number, that case number there. And let me show you all real quick the summons right here. Look at what the summons says. They called them over the phone and told them that they had to come to court. So this is the summons, right? We marked it as Exhibit A2, right? So you can see, you know, it's in color. This, all of the markings that we put on there would be in red. So these are evidences of different violations. But the writ of summons reads this right here. To the person summoned, they're talking corporate person, failure to file a response within the time allowed may result in a judgment by default or the granting of the relief sought against you. Personal attendance in court on the day named is not required. But they called them September 8th and told them, we're going to get a hearing injunction and we're going to have you all come. You got to come. Look, it says it's not required. That's because, everyone, the word appearance does not mean to attend in court. It means to voluntarily submit to the jurisdiction of the court. It does not mean to come to court. When they say failure to appear, look up the definition of appear and appearance in the Black's Law Dictionary, 4th and 5th edition. Then compare it to attendance. Doesn't mean the same thing. I just wanted to point that out. So none of them had to go to that hearing. So getting back to the writ of error, that was all intimidation. And it was actually a de facto administrative hearing. People just don't know that. But, you know, Taj's been saying it for years. Memorandum. On September 9th, 2022, Byron David Bell Bay declared his nationality citizenship as Moorish American. And let me say this real quick before people start reaching out thinking that we're 911. We are not, the Consul General of Morocco is not 911. We do not take 911 cases where you can just call us. The reason why we were able to do this for this brother, for this property, is because I've known him personally over a year and I know his principles. So this is all based on principles. This is not based on personality or because you call yourself Moorish American. Just because you're Moorish American does not mean you hold the status, meaning you went back to the state of mind of your ancient foremothers and forefathers. They will prove on record by using your words against you that you're still clinging to names and principles that delude to slavery, and you will not be entitled to consular jurisdiction. They will block your treaty rights. All right? So just wanted to put that out there. On September 9th, 2022, Byron David Bell Bay declared his nationality citizenship as Moorish American, being an Aboriginal and indigenous sovereign national and heir of the Moroccan Empire at northwest of Mexico, North America, and made adverse claim to his ancestral estate in reversion known as blank Walker, Maryland Republic by his secured treaty right to inherit under Article 22 of the Treaty of Peace and Friendship of 1836 between the United States of North America and the Moroccan Empire. See attachments Exhibit A1, affidavit of fact, adverse claim of title, and a reversion of ancestral estate dated September 9th, 2022, and Exhibit B, affidavit of dispute, and C, Colivret versus Oregon, which is a Supreme Court case law quote from 1961. So for the second time, I'm going to move on. On September 9th, 2022, you, Sharon L. Hancock, acting in collusion with you, Reuben B. Collins II, Edwards Wesley Adams III, you got me laughing, Elizabeth Dorothy Theobalds, you good, bro, Sanjav Das, and Troy DeBerry, found a misrepresented instrument, bill of attainder, form bill of exchange titled Writ of Summons, dated September 9th, 2022, in the de facto records of case number I read before, which was addressed to the fictitious corporate person on the Gerb Byron David Bell Sr., race black, under color of law, within purview of the unconstitutional 14th Amendment, which constitutes fraud in the inducement. See Exhibit A2 attached here too, which is what we just read earlier, the de facto writ of summons. And see United States versus Throckmorton, another Supreme Court case law. Furthermore, it has been proved beyond reasonable doubt by conclusive evidence in de facto case numbers, all of these case numbers and citation numbers in the records of the private foreign de facto circuit court for Charles County, Inc., that the state of Maryland, Inc., and all the subsidiaries thereof, including the de facto circuit court for Charles County, county commissioners of Charles County, Inc., and the Charles County Sheriff Department, Inc., and the representatives thereof were not delegated Article 3 judicial authorization and consular jurisdiction to hear and decide diversity of citizenship cases affecting the person and property, private property of Moorish American nationals in disputes with citizens of the United States, and therefore lack jurisdiction and venue. See Elliott versus Pearsall. I'm going to read this one because it's important. Courts are constituted by authority, and they cannot act beyond the power delegated to them. If a court acts without authority, its judgments and orders are regarded as nullities. They are not voidable, but simply void, and form no bar to a remedy sought in opposition to them, even prior to a reversal. That's federal, state, county, municipal, whatever city, whatever else de facto court I can't think of right now. All of them. They constitute no justification, and all persons concerned in executing such judgments or sentences are considered in law as trespassers. Wherefore, it is this 9th day in the month of September 2022 in the Morocco Consular Court at the Maryland State Republic, ordered and adjudged that a writ of error be and the same is hereby entered against the defendant, Sharon L. Hancock, acting in collusion with Reuben B. Collins II, Edwards Wesley Adams III, Elizabeth Dorothy Theobalds, and Sanjav Das, and Troy DeBerry. It is further ordered and adjudged that the misrepresented instrument, bill of attainder, form, bill of exchange, titled Writ of Summons, dated September 9th, 2022, and any other attachments associated thereto are unconstitutional, notwithstanding, null and void ab initio, and are unenforceable for lack of jurisdiction and fraud. So when it says, and any other attachments associated thereto, I'm also talking about the the de facto injunction order. It's on the website. It is further ordered and adjudged that the collusive action and de facto administrative proceedings under color of law in case number C08CV22000576 in the records of the Foreign Circuit Court for Charles County, Inc., including the de facto administrative hearing on September 9th, 2022, and any other attachments associated thereto are unconstitutional, notwithstanding null and void ab initio, and are unenforceable and closed for lack of jurisdiction and fraud. Done and ordered at Maghrib Al-Aqsa, Northwest of Mexham. Witness the hand and official seal of the Honorable Consul General of Morocco. There's my seal. There's my autograph. And this is the certificate of service for that writ of error. Now, the rest, you all can go on the website. This is a research website, if you all haven't noticed, and go to Sunday Gun Day, scroll down to where you see lawful notice to cease and desist, and you'll see the record. As well, in response to the Charles County Sheriff agents coming to the property, we issued a lawful notice to cease and desist. And right here, and I'm not going to read this for the sake of time, but you all can go on the website and read it. And this is the YouTube video of me serving the agents for Troy D. Berry, who, you know, said that we're not accepting it. Doesn't matter. He said he was going to throw it in the trash, but you touch it, you just accepted it. Anyway, and this video, which can be found on Enforce the Constitution YouTube page, the YouTube channel, is where we were building on September 28th, 2022. We were building on the gun range, and these two showed up. And let's just say the rest is history. For those that have not seen this, it was pretty much them doing a test. They were testing me. They were sent to test me. And I think they are required to do this, not because they are the police or because they are acting as sheriffs. No, they are wearing uniforms. They are in disguise. That is not the sheriff department, the constitutional sheriff department that will be within a Republican form of government. Those are imposters wearing uniforms. So when you look at this video and you study the video, you will know that this one here on the left was asking the same questions in different ways. And this one here on the right, I think, was overseeing this one here on the left. So on some like, you know, like pretty much coaching them, and it just didn't work. And eventually this one here on the left went and got a cigarette. And but you know, they left the property. I denied them access. They did not disobey my order when I told them to stay right there and don't move as I was walking up towards them, because we didn't have anybody securing the front of the property at that time because we were building. And that is not the case anymore, because here is some of the crew of the Freedom Outdoor Range and Training Academy, which is also a branch that we're creating with the Mufti and the Sharif. We've started the Morocco Special Forces, and they will come under the chain of command of the for the office of the Consul General of Morocco to carry out specific orders in regards to the orders that are issued from Morocco Consular Court. However, we are still building. We are still building as far as the range is concerned, and the venue, the consular court venue. It is active. However, I have to show this too before I put the screen share. I'm going to the web page, Morocco Consular Court. This is a congressional record letter from the Secretary of the State of the United States. This office, even though it's de facto now, is the same office that issued the Consular Notification and Access Manual, 5th edition, 2018. All right, and Taj Tariq Bey always touched on this congressional record, but I'm bringing it up for the sole purpose of everybody understanding what it means to be qualified for consular jurisdiction. So this was dated 1906. That's 50 years before the founding of the Kingdom of Morocco. So when they say Morocco, they ain't talking about the kingdom. They're including the kingdom, but they're not talking about the kingdom specifically. They're talking about the empire. Sir, there are strictly speaking no Moroccan laws related to citizenship of Moorish subjects in Morocco. The fundamental laws of this non-Christian country are based entirely upon the Islamic code, no part of which treats of the subject of citizenship. There are, however, numerous treaties and conventions between the various Christian countries and the Moorish Empire, by means of which citizenship in this country is defined. So we'll go straight to it. Number one, citizenship in Morocco, the empire, may be said to be governed by the laws pertaining to the same in other countries, with the exception that all persons residing in Morocco who cannot, here's the key, prove foreign citizenship or protection, are considered ipso jure, that means by the operation of law, as Moorish subjects. That's not just Moors, that's also the foreign hybrid European colonists and everybody in between. 2 and 3, Moorish subjects lost their nationality only by becoming naturalized in or protected by another country having treaty relations with the Moorish Empire. So let me show you all this part here. Prove foreign citizenship. So how would one prove foreign citizenship? I'm going to Google. And I'm putting in 1508. You all better hurry up and get this down before they probably take it down or something. National Identity Card. What pops up is www.justice.gov. This is, you look at the top left-hand corner, an official website of the United States government, United States Department of Justice Archive. And we're going to look up this word archive too, so that you all can know how important that is. So this is the Criminal Justice Research Manual, subsection 1508, specifically mention identification documents. It is defining 18 United States Code 1028. Section 1028 designates 3 special non-federal identification documents and gives them preferred treatment. These 3 documents, in the absence of a national identity card, are the prime means by which an individual establishes his identity in the United States. The 3 documents are A, birth certificate, B, driver's license, and C, personal identification card. Keep in mind, we're talking about in the absence of a national identity card, which is an actual identification card, right? A, birth certificate is not defined in 18 U.S.C. subsection 1028 since it's self-explanatory. We're going straight to it. Obviously, a birth certificate is not intended to actually identify the person who claims such a document pertains to him. There are few physical characteristics that remain the same as those at the time of birth. Nevertheless, the birth certificate has become, quote unquote, commonly accepted as an identification document in this country, but it is not. Everybody that thought that they was identifying themselves when they produced the birth certificate, you just saw and read or heard me read from the United States Department of Justice, which is the headquarters and oversees FBI, CIA, ATF, NSA, ICE, TSA with the airports. All of them all know about the National Identification Card, also called Nationality Card. Here's the proof right here. B, driver's license is not defined in 18 U.S.C. 1028. Look what this says. It was not intended to establish one's identity, period. Because of the absence of a better document, however, what would that be? The better document, a national identification card. Absence of that better document, the driver's license eventually has become, quote unquote, commonly accepted as the quote unquote national identity card. Then the personal identification card, which is issued by the Department of Motor Vehicles. None of these identify you. They classify, because what does it say in this congressional record again? What does it say right here? With the exception that all persons residing in Morocco, here, North, South, and Central America, as well as across the Great Atlantis, onto the shores of Africa, North, South, and Central Africa, right? All of that is the kingdom, the empire. That's the dominions. It says, whoever within those dominions that cannot prove foreign citizenship. How would you prove foreign citizenship? Even by just reading 1508, the national identification card. If you're in absence of it, then you are given, you are preferred to use the driver's license, birth certificate, and personal identification card. They don't identify, they classify, right? So when you go to 18 USC 1028, because that's what is talking about as far as the birth certificate, driver's license, and personal ID. And remember, they say they're quoting commonly accepted. So it's a quote. Let's see what they're quoting. 18 USC 1028. This is fraud and related activity in connection with identification documents, authentication features, and information. A, whoever in a circumstance described in subsection C of this section, 1, knowingly and without lawful authority produces an identification document, authentication feature, or a false identification document. When you click on that, the source of this definition is 18 USC right here on the top right. 18 USC 1028 D4, right? And this is 4. We ain't gonna read the whole thing. The term false identification document means a document of a type intended or commonly accepted. There's the quote, for the purposes of identification of individuals. So the birth certificate, the driver's license, and the personal ID card that you get from the Department of Motor Vehicles are false identification documents. Now you see why they are classifying you and can classify you under the Black Code, because according to the Secretary of State letter, you can't prove foreign citizenship. Now, what did Drew Ali say in the Divine Warning by the Prophet for the Nations? He said, it is a sin for any group of people to violate the national constitutional laws of a free national government and cling to the names and principles that delude to slavery. So those instruments delude to slavery. Now, here is another congressional record that was shared with me by our Grand Sheikh Taj Tariq Bey. This is disabilities of free persons of color. And this is part 47, exceptions in favor of Aborigines, Moors, and Hindus. They ain't say Indians. And this is dealing with the Black codes. See, slave laws. See that? Male slaves, etc., right? The provisions, prohibitions, and penalties of this act shall not extend to any American Indi. Well, I don't even know what that last part is. Free Moor or Lascar, but the burden of proof in all cases of arrest of any person of color shall be on such person of color to show him or herself exempt from the operations of this act. So guess what? You have to declare your own. The consul cannot do it. The Consul General cannot do it. The Grand Sheiks of the Moorish Science Temples of America cannot do it. People that are creating sovereignty packages and issuing IDs cannot do it. You have to do it. You have to prove foreign citizenship, and you have to prove protection. All right? So I'm going back to, where is it? Sunday Gun Day. So everyone that is looking to come out to Sundays, because we're welcoming everyone that is morals and has values and principles, and they will honor the principles of our national flag, which is love, truth, peace, freedom, and justice. You are welcome, whether you have a gun permit or not, and whether you advocate for a gun permit or not. That's all your decision. If you want to, you yourself that doesn't have a gun permit that wants to get a permit, you have a right to do that. Just know that when you submit yourself and put your energy on that instrument, you should read it first so that you can know what you're submitting yourself to, and understand that that Fothman instrument, that's what it is, it's a Fothman instrument, is used to escheat your birthright to keep and bear arms, because that's a birthright. Can't be bought, sold, or transferred, but it definitely can be abandoned. And what we are demonstrating is the true spirit of the Second Amendment. So this property is under consular jurisdiction. The flag is flown at the front. And as I explained to the two de facto sheriff department agents, that it's no different than coming on this property is no different than coming on the property where the embassy of China would be exercising their jurisdiction. And I said, would you just freely go up on that property? He said, no, I wouldn't. I'd probably get shot. I said, exactly. And that's exactly what will happen to you if you was to do that again at the front of the property. It's in the video. It wasn't a threat that was noticed. And we ended in peaceful terms. They even advocated us to enjoy our shooting. So this is a demonstration of the enforcement of the Constitution. It is not done just in writing. It's not done with a piece of plastic. It's done by your words, actions, and deeds. And just one more thing, I put that out there like that as far as reading it, because this was an opportunity to put it on a public record. So full faith and credit has to be given to it, no matter what the naysayers say. So,
and they are naysayers, you know what I mean?
So,
you know, if I might interject, there are some that, you know, have are taking issue with the fact that your services and assistance to Moors is comes with a fee. Birthright, nationality is free, blah 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 blah. However, you know,
it is free.
But yeah, that's free. But the I see now from a standpoint of it can't just be on the paper, as you said. The man or the woman, you know, the sentient being has to be it, has to know it, and somebody's got to teach them, somebody's got to coach them. And I mean, you're making a lot of information available, but some folks to just go, they can copy your information that's on your website, but if they can't stand on it, if they have not been going through, you know, what was it like, is that murder board or the different things that you have to get folks ready to be able to, you know, defend whatever it is that they put on paper, then it's wasteless. I mean, it's useless rather. It's a waste of their time and efforts, because if they don't know what to do with it, they're going to fall flat on their face.
Exactly. And it's pretty much you wouldn't get in the boxing ring without training if you've never boxed before. Right? And then how dare
free to go to the gym.
I think that is free. I think any gym, well, most gyms will allow somebody that feels like they want to just get in the boxing ring and fight. They'll let them get in the boxing ring and fight. I know my old gym was. We was with it. So, but how dare the trainer that has gotten the experience of fighting and boxing, how dare he charge someone to train them? You know what I mean? Based off of his experience. You know, all of the, you know, the knots and the broken noses that he done got. You know, that's a birthright. It's your birthright to learn how to box and fight. Yeah, it is your birthright. But it's also the birthright of the trainer to charge for and be compensated for his services. And it's not a fee. That's also, you know, because we train in civics and also linguistics. The word fee does not mean cost. For people that don't know, fee is short for fee simple, and that's escheat. The word escheat and the word fee are synonyms. Go look up the definition of escheat.
Well, see, there's folks that are arguing in the chat over the fact whether it's 5,000, 7,000.
Oh yeah. Let me.
And what? Yeah, and
yeah. Let me touch on that, because I know there's people.
I just want to say this. I don't know if you're looking at the chat things, but
I am now.
there's one that has, and I know who it is. I know who you are, that keeps bringing up that you're not mentioning the prophet. You're not mentioning the prophet. And I don't know that you have to mention the prophet in everything you do, but you do need to exhibit the things that the prophet said that we should be doing.
Yeah.
You need to exemplify those things instead of
But
mouthing.
wait, those people that mention the prophet a lot, what's the works?
That's the point I'm trying to make. You need to do what the prophets say do. And most of the folks that take issue with others that are doing something that folks are gravitating to, or that they feel like they're profiting from, they themselves ain't doing, excuse me, shit. You know what I mean? I'm just being flat out blunt. All they doing is spewing shit. All they doing is spewing hatred, rapping, and then peppering the prophet in to make it seem like some level of holiness, when their record is anything but spotless and squeaky.
That's why I wanted to call it. That's why I wanted to call it. Everybody's going to be tested by their works, and the traitors are going to be revealed. Now, everybody, if you know who we talk or who Dr. G's talking about, go to that individual's Instagram, website, or whatever, and then look at the works he put in, or she put in, or they put in. And then also ask yourself why they so goddamn far. Right? They far as hell. You know what I mean? I'm at DC. I'm in the like the Lions Den, and I putting in the work. I give reference, and when I say I made it far, I don't speak just about me, because every living thing is bound by cord to every other living thing. Everything I do that furthers the movement is going to affect everybody, especially if I put it out there. I put it out there. I'm still receiving emails from people that have went on the website and studied and utilized the certified copies of these documents, because it's nothing but words on paper. You can borrow the words on paper. Go ahead. Just as long as you look up those words and know what they mean, and then adopt the spirit of those words. Now those words are your words, and now you enforce them. You enforce them by do whatever the word says in the document, and then you record it in their records. Full faith per Article 4, Section 1 of the Constitution for the United States of North America. Full faith and credit got to be given to those words now. So you give full faith and credit to your words and carry out the words. And if anybody tries to stop you, especially if they're having a uniform on, claiming some type of authority, you challenge them and you enforce your words in the record, like it's shown and displayed and demonstrated in that video that of me talking to the facto sheriffs. Be your word, because that's where we at right now. And I, as well as like a countless of others, it ain't just me no more. I ain't the only one now. Now I got a whole lot of people that I've assisted around North America, as well as other parts of the world, Trinidad and Tobago included, and Canada. And if the couple is still out there in Canada, if you can hear, please reach out, because I went through phones and I don't have your information. You know who you are. I kind of don't want to say. God bless. But go ahead.
See, there's someone in the chat named Ava who's putting up that they cashed out you 160 and you kept all of it and blocked her. I'm assuming it's her. I don't know what the situation is, but
yeah, this day opportunity, I guess.
No, but hey, this is we're not trying to be. I'm going to address what I see. So I'm going to say to Ava, and I'm assuming your sister, that you reach back out. I don't know what the situation, but it sounds like paperwork and posted and stuff.
Yeah, that's our recording services. So we provide. Let me do that too. We provide.
She needs to reach back to you and see what happened with I don't know what it is, and I'm sure 160 notes is not, if it's a serious issue as it means, if she didn't get what she paid for, I'm sure you're not gonna have a problem saying, well, here, take it.
Absolutely not. Absolutely not. Just reach out I mean, anybody that's dealt with me as far as business and as far as personal, they know my character and they know my principles. So there's nothing you can do. You're not going to misrepresent who I am.
Right.
So But Ava, you can reach out, and that appellation sounds familiar. So reach out to the email info@enforcetheconstitution.org and let us know what you're talking about, and we'll get right on it. But we are like overloaded, and I don't want to say I'm looking for help, because anybody that wants to help, they got to get vetted. If you want to be a part of our consulate, you have to enforce the Constitution in a de facto case, and you have to have it dismissed. You have to enforce it. So, and that's the vetting process for us.
If someone, say, doesn't have a case, say an issue, except maybe they have a dead pledge, would that be doing
yeah, that's the same thing. It's enforcing
adverse claim and
because it's not, those aren't cases and those aren't courts. All it is due process of law. It's notice and opportunity to be heard. All right, we are actually starting. Well, we're not starting, but we're building on Morocco Consular Court, which, from my knowledge, is the first active Article 3 court on the land. All the other de facto courts are de facto. They're not Article 3 courts. So if you are disputing a mortgage and you enforce the Constitution, I ain't talking about an act, Administrative Procedures Act, that's under the 14th Amendment. Anything under the 14th Amendment is unconstitutional, and it's not your ancient principles of your mothers and fathers. That's not our principles. Our principles are the Constitution and the treaty. That's our principles. So you have to go back into the principles. That's the state of mind. What Drew Ali said, go back to that state of mind of your ancient foremothers and forefathers. Now I wanted to touch on my office, the office that I'm in, the office of Consul General. Like a public office would be an office that is funded by the public, which is the people, which means everybody that sits in that office would receive a salary. And they will take a public oath to uphold and support the Constitution as well, which includes the treaty, and to carry out their public duties. I am not a public officer because I am not compensated by the public. My compensation comes from the services that I provide. So the personal services that I provide is how I'm able to run the office. So there are people that are dealing with mortgages from $150,000 to 980. What was it? 989,000. Which they would say dollars, but they're talking about fiat. I offer the service of either disputing the mortgage, the alleged mortgage, or if there's an alleged foreclosure case, I offered the service of disputing the foreclosure case by the process called writ of quo warranto. To dispute the mortgage is between $5,000 to $7,000, and to dispute the foreclosure is between $5,000 to $7,000. Now, with this, we draft the documents for you, and we also coach you in enforcing the documents. Now, there have been people that have come to me and thought that I drafted the documents for them, and they just send off the documents and poof, the case is dismissed. Nope. I have been given full disclosure to people since 2013 to 2014, and then from 2014 to 2019 in prison because I was still assisting people over the phone with mortgages, and I was assisting some prisoners and some of the prison guards with their mortgage. I would give them the same disclosure. It is not the paper that enforces it, and it's not me that enforces it. It's you. I can provide the words for you, right? Just like any other form that you would fill out. When you go to the job, and you fill out an application, all of those words on that application belong to you as soon as you sign it. You want to open up a bank account, which is really a financial institution, it's not a bank. You fill out an application. When you sign that application, all of those words that they suggested that you use belong to you. So I offer the same word, not the same words, but I offer the same service. The difference is I looked up those words. A lot of those writs that I do for people, and that's on the website for people to do for themselves, and it's not for free. You got to pay attention. You got to pay. Either way, you got to pay. There's no such thing as go to RV Bay and just study, or go and use their templates, study it, fill it out, and then send it. Then poof, it's gone. Nope. And you damn sure can't come on this platform and forcetheconstitution.org and think that, because I'm going to tell you straight up, you better be ready to fight. And what I charge is for not the paperwork. I charge for my energy and my time going into doing shadow work with you, because I'm actually doing shadow work. I'm helping you face your foes, because actually the foe ain't the de facto judge. Nope. He's getting you to use your words against you. If they say anything you say can and will be used against you, then that means anything they say don't mean jack shit. Doesn't mean anything. They're not using what they say against you. They're using what you say. So what they'll do is they'll say something to you, and they'll look for an emotional response. And depending on what they want you to say, they're going to say. So you're here today, and you see you're appearing today in court. You made an appearance, and I don't see an attorney. Are you representing yourself, or do you want an attorney? People that don't know how to read, and it's no offense, because that was the handicap that they did to us. They think represent means to speak on your own behalf without no other person. That's not what represent means. First of all, the word re is the first word in represent. It's a compound word. Re means to do over or to undo, right? Then you have present. If you're present, how you represent yourself? That's why they'll ask you right after you say, yeah, I'm representing myself. They'll say, okay, the next question is, what's your level of education? And Taj already told us, education is docility training for animals, because it's supposed to be erudition.
Right.
So they know you educated if you think you representing yourself. And there's a attorney's joke, and it goes, he who represents himself have a fool for a client, because you're a damn fool thinking that you can represent yourself. Right? So they know you by your words, because the culture's in the language. So what we do is what I do, I should say, soon it's going to be a we, is everybody that looks to get consular assistance, after we do the consultation, which is $300 for that hour, and all the time I go over 3 hours. Go over 1 hour. But nevertheless, at the end of the consultation, I explain how you can do it yourself and use the examples on the website and just redraft it. Use the same words, plug in your information, but most importantly, study every single word before you send off the document, and especially after you send it off, because as soon as it's entered into the record, you have to you have to do what you said in that document. You have to do it. And I've done it. I've displayed it. They ain't killed me. I ain't kidnapped, and none of that. And I walk around with a firearm with no gun license, proudly. All right? Because it's not because you got all those people. No, they know I'm not going to give them a birthright. They can't use my words against me. So what we do is we train the individuals. We train the Moors on the words that are on the documents. I draft the document for you according to the information that you provide. I send it to you. You will check the documents, make sure there are no errors. All the information is complete. Then you would print the documents out, sign them, send them off, and then study them. The next thing I do is what's called murder board. Murder board, let me go to the definition of murder board real quick so that everybody can see. Screen share. Let me screen share now. And I'm going to murder board.
Somebody is putting in here that the prophet never mentioned a consul. If I hear one word, and I'm going to hear it, prophet never did this. Prophet never said that. How in the world can How can let me say this for a minute. How can honestly say what the prophet never or ever said? We know things that are written, but we also know that the half has never been told. So
that's what he said. Why ain't nobody saying that?
I just want to say, miss me with what the prophet never said, because you don't know what the prophet did and did not say. You only know and some of the things that were written and codified, but you don't know everything. And you think that we were supposed. Matter of fact, if you go by exactly what the prophet said, how much should we be given at the? Did they be given at the temple? Is it 50 cents? Why are temple asking for more than 50 cents if the prophet never said to ask for 10 or 20 or whatever? Come on, y'all. Come on, we got to move forward in this thing. Those of you, and I'm gonna invite you. You are in this chat that are here for anything other than to listen and give. Like I said, with an open mind. If you're here to create distraction for those who came to learn, please step off now. Please just step off now. Cujo and all the rest of y'all. Step off.
Oh, you said his name. Can I say what I need to say now?
He put the first message on before we even went live. Then he comes back, takes that one off, and he puts another message in under his other name. He thinks nobody knows. He talks about both. I mean, I don't. He gets on his show and I'm slurred and I just slurred and probably you. We are put together. But thank you. My like I must be somebody. If I'm on your mind, I'm running through your mind all the time. Why don't you do something for the people?
That man has nothing to do.
We don't need to be fighting. And I shouldn't even have to go through this because you've given some legitimate information that folks can actually use. They can go back to the website and they can get as much as is there.
But he's being revealed. He's being revealed.
Said it.
Look, the traitors. He's a traitor. He proved it. And he won't come here. He won't come here. He won't. You won't come here. And here's the other thing. I've helped people out at Canada get back into their domicile, right? That sought consular jurisdiction.
Need the Grand Chico over in Canada.
No one has heard from him at Canada. I will put it on YouTube. All of the people out at Canada that's reached out to me, and I started a study group in my text thread. I hope y'all reach back out to me. Reach back out. Send me an email so that we can get that going again, and I can have you all on the subscription. And the subscription is free. You can get it on the website and subscribe. But no one's heard of him out Canada. Nobody has heard of this man. This man does nothing but talk, and I don't even think he's getting paid for it.
But I tell you about a troll.
You can tell by his appearance.
No, I said a troll. Middle Earth moved you back. Troll, you in the wrong place because the elves and the fairies, the people in the Middle Earth, they're missing their trolls. That's where y'all need to go because you're not doing any good here up on the surface. You're not helping to advance us. You're trying to take us backwards. You're trying.
And look, but Dr. G, for real, that's a part of like this great reset because him and people like him are getting the people among us that follow him so that to be revealed. So now we see, so y'all with him. You know what I mean? Because soon it's just going to be us. It ain't going to be no foreign harbor European colonists that they can call 911 and all. It's just going to be us. All of them.
I'm going to say this because it's true. I received a call. It wasn't recently. Maybe it could have been had to be over a year ago. But I received a call from a sister from Canaan land who was to me to complain about him. And she had lost her job or something. Job didn't have the funds to pay what she was expected to pay and how she was treated. I don't know why that sister called me, but he's on here talking about what you charging. And if you put people out of your temple or having, giving them grief because they don't have the funds, what you about? Come on.
Nothing talking. All of them. That's why I said the people will be tested by their works. What you doing? That's just what he's putting in work. It's a lot of people out China putting in work, issuing out like documents. That the people out China said they ain't even. I ain't gonna mention his name, but he said he ain't part of the movement no more. He started on a whole nother movement. But I want people, everybody that got those documents from him, that little fancy document, I want y'all. Ain't even a party. Go look them up. But that's neither here nor there. Dr. G, the traitors are being exposed. I'm not even looking to get in their way. They're being exposed by our activity. Not just mine. It's more than me now. They're being exposed by our activity, but also the traitors on the other side that are wearing the uniforms. They're being exposed too. Because I was told by someone that a lot of Charles County Sheriff police have quit by the dozens because back in 2013 and 14, they were given weekly meetings on how to deal with me and the people that I associate and the people like me. And it was a lot. It was several of the police that were saying, well, I guess they was complaining. One of them talked to me. I ain't going to disclose who, but they were complaining about how they're not the higher ups aren't explaining why they have to treat me and people like me different than anybody else. So they quit. And that's also signs that even on their side, the traitors are being exposed. Because we're active. This is why Drew Ali said, I'm looking for active Moors, not passive Moors. What about that part? How come ain't nobody talking about that? They just want to sit around and talk about all this stuff, but they ain't doing nothing.
And this is
look, they can't say what we're doing. We renegade Moors and all. I done heard all that bull, right?
They said
it's working.
I don't know if it's
what happened?
Maybe because you're talking louder. Somebody said turn the gain down on your mic. Your voice is far too loud, harsh, and it's distorted. I'm not sure what that's the only one. But
I'm loud. Let me put this mic over here. I know how loud I can get.
Listen, for those who think that I'm giving energy to, or we're giving energy to the quote unquote clowns. No, this is actually a part of what he was talking about. I know you're right when he was going to talk about traitors were going to be revealed, but they started revealing themselves before
before
we went live. So that's the issue. That is the issue. There's things that have to, things that have to be discussed. And I saw enough folks of you all in the chat that were calling Cujo L out. You all knew who he was. I knew who he was too, right?
Tell him come here. He's too far. We can't hear him.
Somebody asked, for me to have him on the show, and my response to that is absolutely not.
Yeah, that's a waste of time.
He has his own platform. I don't know why he's waste time coming on mine. I don't know whether you do this, Cujo, to other folk, but I don't know why you always on here grandstanding on my platform. I don't know why. Go do
chasing clout. He wanted it, Dr. G. He wanted this attention, but it's just it's not gonna be the attention he wants.
No, I will not officially invite him on this platform. He talks about me like a dog, which I don't give two shits about. Yeah, I'm telling you that. The one you claim that I'm a pastor, I don't give two shits about what you say. And I'm not going to bring him on this platform. He had asked me once before. He wanted to set the record straight. At the same time, he was putting negative comments about me. First time I knew that Cujo was how he was because I had what is this thing? What did I have on the show? And he put all this horrible stuff on. Oh my God. The one everybody, as well as I know him, but I had a guest on. I'm older. I forget sometimes, but I had a guest on, and he said I needed to be ashamed of myself for having him on the show and put all this negative stuff in the chat, and then wanted to come on the show. You're not gonna do that to me. I don't need you, Cujo. You need me. You need me and other people's platforms like this so you can grandstand. So
that man's credibility is falling right now so fast.
And all of your followers, I'm letting you make a fool of yourself. I'm letting you do that. Just have at it.
Yeah.
And, just have at it if that's the case. Now that we've said that,
his stock is plummeting right now. Really? Everybody, look, we got facts. We're active, and everybody that's not, you can pay attention to who is not doing what we're doing, Not saying that we're like the best. No. It's about being active, and it's about studying and showing yourself approved. You can't just say, okay, not black no more. Now I'm a Moorish American. So y'all got to give me my birthright back. And if they don't, y'all over there who's been exercising the birthright, y'all got to teach me this for free because it's my birthright. I don't owe you a goddamn thing. I don't owe anybody nothing. I don't owe anybody. I am not in a public office. I'm not being compensated by the public and receiving a salary. I'm receiving personal funds that for the work that I'm doing. And then, like, also understand this: it costs $5,000 to retain the attention of an attorney. $5,000 to just retain his attention. Then, in order to deal with a foreclosure case or like child custody case, whatever, $20,000. And guess what he can't do? He can't get the case dismissed.
Yeah,
but I'm the bad guy. And then look, the word attorney, no one pays attention to the word attorney without the E and the Y, drop that attorney. That means to consent to the transfer of a reversion, which means escheat. That means as soon as you contract with the attorney, he turns your estate over to the crown. Look up the definition of attorn, ATTORN, and then look up the whole word attornment. That's when you're giving your birthright to a stranger and you're consenting to stand as a tenant and recognize the owner of an estate that you previously held. Attorney.
Your voice is loud. I'm not sure if it's mine.
Oh, shit, I'm loud. I'm still loud. Yeah, y'all see?
listen, y'all folks.
Well, I don't even need a mic. Let me just turn this mic on.
No, chat, folks. Listen, we're not. Look, we're not. We just got to be able to be real and see.
Yeah.
So it gets so ugly. This is why I'm just saying this, y'all. This is not a distraction. This needs to be said that. Sometimes we get so ugly in these chat situations online. My wonder is, how do we act when we get in person, face to face? Because
right.
Do we really hate each other that much that, because the words that come through on here, them like fighting words. Those are sometimes the stuff that folks might want to go to blows for. So do we really hate each other that much, or are we just hating on each other? And if so, what is the point? What are we profiting by doing that? We would profit so much more by bringing our individual strengths to bear together, because at the end of the day, we are all one. We are fighting ourselves. We are like that doggone, crazy giant who looks down, when you look down from, the higher self and goes, look at that fist punching that face being punched by his own fist. When I fight you and you fight me, it's our own one body, just scrapping it out, and mutilating itself. We have got to come togeter.
Dr. G, I just read something. Somebody said I paid a lawyer $5,000 and went to jail the same day.
And you're not laughing.
Dr. G, here's the other thing. I was supposed to go to prison, not because of what they said. No, because it was a part of my journey. I was supposed to go to prison because in my head, it wasn't prison, it was law school. And of course, I'm not, promoting for people to do that. But we're alchemists, and I was able to turn into law school. I also knew I wasn't going to be there for a long time because, how I'm being led or whatever. But most importantly, the Circle 7 says the highest heights are gained by those who reach the greatest depths, and you will reach the greatest depths. And then it says, where Jesus, sought for admission to go to the dismal crypts so that he can know how to succor those in need. I went to the dismal crypts, and every person in there that had an attorney paid for the attorney that I spoke to, paid for the attorney, and was like, man, they just had me take a plea deal. You paid $5,000 plus for a plea deal for something that you could have did yourself. They playing so many people in there. You know what I mean? And then people like Cujo and whoever else that hasn't been in there. And I can't wait for the brothers to get out that was in there, you know, that's still, you know, under the black code, and they're not for the nationalization, but they was in big support of me. I can't wait till they come home. Then I won't have to say nothing. You'll hear from them on how I was in there. You know what I mean? So the people that's out here talking trash and all of that, I'm not fazed by it because, one, you won't come here and say it to me. Two, you far as hell. Three, you ain't putting no work in. And four, one day everybody around you is going to turn on you because that's the way the law works. And I'm talking about divine law. See, what they're doing, and when I say they, I'm talking about the opposition, is what is called law merchant. And they're doing it under Admiralty and Maritime because all of these people are merchants. They're not judges. They're not policemen. They're not congressmen. They're not none of that. These are merchants. And they're trying to sell you your birthright. All right? The Constitution and the treaty are international agreements that the Moors had with the Christian Crusades or the foreign hybrid European colonists to end all of the wars and be at peace and to settle our differences civically, dealing with civics and morals. They adopted the principles in the Constitution and treaty that was laid down by our ancient foremothers and forefathers so that they can learn government and civics and principles. And now, all of a sudden, the momentum shifted. We're the uncivilized ones, or I'll say the people among us are the uncivilized ones that need to learn civics. So what's going on is the separation from the wheat and the chaff, and the wheat from the chaff, excuse me, and the thieves, the murderers, the adulterers, the true ones, I should say, not the ones that are, you know, openly doing it. But I'm talking about the ones that are doing it behind closed doors. And most importantly, the traitors. They're being revealed. Like Todd said, this is actually when the Constitution was written for. It was written for these days. And guess what? It's the supreme law of the land. If it's the supreme law of the land, then guess what you're going to be judged by? Judgment Day, right? Yeah. And then you look up the word land, it says ground, soil, or earth of any kind whatsoever, including, what's included in the ground, soil, or earth is pastures, woods, meadows, moors, rocks, etc. So you can actually take out land and put moors. Supreme law of the Moors. Because we're the land. We're the land made manifest. So what I see when I watch the video, just for example, of me, you know, not disputing, but being tested, and then I testing them back. The two agents from the Charles County Sheriff Department, I wasn't by myself. Yeah, I had people with me, you know, but I wasn't by myself. All of those trees, all of those woods, those pastures, those rocks, the grass. I mean, damn it, I look just like it, right? We all do. I wasn't by myself. And if you pay attention to the feet, because, you know, communication goes through the feet as well. Even though my soil is blocked by the soil of the rubber of the shoe, and the electricity can't go through the rubber to my foot, to the sole of my foot, down to the ground, pay attention to the feet, to my feet. I was stomping. Whenever I was getting my point across, and I wasn't doing it intentionally, that was natural nature. I was responding according to nature. And Quinn was out there. Quinn, that was formerly with the Rise of the Moors, that's now with the Moorish American Consul General, who proved themselves, and I coached him over the phone. Anybody wondering about his case? How come I ain't talking about Quinn case? Rise of the Moors case. And then what about everybody else's case with the Rise of the Moors case? What about that? You know what I mean? And why was Quinn's case different from theirs? How come they're not looking for Quinn? Anybody talking about that? Okay, but yeah, let's go back to what I was saying. He was out there. He was the one that was holding the camera. You know what I mean? So he was just pretty much straight up. Look, he was like, bro, I was seeing your energy, and I thought we was about to have to fight. You know what I mean? But it's principles. I think that the two agents that came to the property knows me. very well. They studied me. They saw me and studied me. You know, when you go to the detention centers and the prisons, those are concentration camp. Keyword concentration or concentrate. They get to concentrate on you. They get to study your patterns, your modus operandi, your mode of operation. They knew my mode of operation. Soon, one day, everybody, you know, when you go to prison, you get stripped from this persona, right? They actually make you take all your clothes off, put them in a box, and mail it home. So that persona that you had is gone. And now you're just another body in this big warehouse with blue DOC shirt and some jeans with no pockets and some shoes with no brand on it. And whoever you truly are will be displayed. And they know that. That's why they call it concentration camp. It's a prisoner of war camp. And they concentrated on us. They concentrated on me. I'm sure they did. They know my principles. They know that I wasn't going to break. You understand? And then as soon as I got out in 2019, August 2019, there was a traffic case that I had to go to from 2014. And I thought, in my head, I was convincing myself that this is their test to see if I got out and I'm tender. Like I didn't like softened up. Nope, sure didn't. And every time I have another victory, and I'm sure they know this too, it builds more confidence in me. And then I start to speak whenever I do consular assistance for people, ask them. And I'm one day bring everybody on, whether it be on your channel, Dr. G, or on the Zoom that I do. I'm gonna bring everybody on that has success with consular jurisdiction, and I'm gonna let them tell their own story and show their own record. But that motivation that I get from these different situations, I give it right back because it's an energy transfer. You understand? And that's what I charge for. I charge, keyword charge, because I'm transferring energy. If I'm coaching you and you're in the fight, I'm giving up my life force for you. I'm giving up my mental capacity for you. But if you're in the fight, so you're the one throwing the punches and the jabs. So for those people that did be a part or paid for consular services, or shall I say, gave up energy in the form of 5,000 or 7,000 for consular services and assistance and quit, that's why they lost their property, because they quit, Dr. G. There was one person that I did the documents for, they recorded it in the case, and full faith and credit has to be given to it. And I did say that I was going to go to the word archive. So let me do that. Well, first, as I see murder board, let me backtrack real quick, Dr. G, if you don't mind. And because I'm touching back on the point that I was making earlier before we got sidetracked by the dog man Cujo. So murder board. A murder board, also known as a scrub down, is a committee of questionnaires set up to critically review a proposal and or help someone prepare for a difficult oral examination. That's what I do. After I draft up the documents for the people, I do a murder board session with them on the documents to see how well they have read and studied the document. And it's basically, the point that's being made. I go over, or I challenge them and question them on the points, because yes, I made the point, but as soon as you put your energy via the autograph on that paper, that's your point. You're making the point. So now you have to orally speak it, and you have to physically demonstrate that point. And that's what I do as far as murder board. And then whenever there is a response or whatever, I have them study the document that was sent to them, and then we might do another murder board. But I don't really pay that much attention to that because I do the writ of error for them. Then they check it for errors, and then they print it, sign it, send it out, and then they're instructed to study the writ of error, because the writ of error is actually the law of the case. All right, well, I ain't gonna get into that because that's part of consular assistance. So here, wait a minute. I'm going to debtors list. Here is One incident that I shared for the public in regards to a mortgage dispute against this debtor whose name Matt Ishbia. Matt Ishbia is acting as the chief executive officer of United Wholesale Mortgage Inc. Matt Ishbia owes a debt for $397,500 payable in lawful money. Now, the heir, who's the creditor to this debt, is Elzira Thornton L. Elzira is a sister that I assisted back in 2021 with the debt dispute. And we did an affidavit of dispute. It's not on here. That's the only document that's not on here. However, what went with the affidavit of dispute is the adverse claim of title and memorandum of trust, as well as copies of some instruments that we deemed and made exhibits B1 and B2 as evidence of fraud and swindles. I'll start with this. This is a delinquent notice that was sent to the location of Sister Elzira Wilbarn L. in the name of this fictitious name, Nam de Gur, which is evidence of misrepresentation and fraud and the inducement, right? And then also, look, and I'm sure a lot of you all may have seen this if you are dealing with the mortgage. Sincerely, Loan Servicing Department. Who the hell is that?
Right.
That's evidence of there being no identifiable sender or signature, which constitutes fraud, right? Same thing. This is another instrument dated June 18th. What was the other one? This was dated June 17th, 2021, June 18th, 2021. Look at this. Who the hell is that? Can't even pronounce that, right? What's going on? Oh, they just outside? Mm-hmm. Okay. My apologies. I got an update from one of my officers. So the next thing that was done was a notice of default. The notice of default is, right here. Copy of the notice of default, right? Now look at this. Anybody can go on the website and check it out and study it. But this letter here, from June 2021 until July 5th, 2022, they were sending instruments talking about, missed payments and all of that, right? See, subject line. Please contact us about your recently missed mortgage payment, right? So still no signature from anybody. So we're using this as evidence. However, when you go to this instrument is dated July 28th, 2022. The other instrument, July 5th, 2022. So this is 23 days later. Look at what this instrument is titled. Notice of intent to record release of obligation under deed of trust, which is the mortgage, right? This is recorded February 26, 2020. Sister Elzira said that was around the time when she went to closing, settlement and closing. Look at date of this sentence first. Here, it says the obligation secured by this deed of trust has been paid in full. Date of payment, September 23rd, 2020. Wait a minute. I thought just 23 days before July 5th, 2022, she was missing her payments. But here, September 23rd, 2020, the payment was made in full, right? And this instrument is dated July 28th, 2022. So they went a whole year sending her misrepresented instruments, threats, and all of that, right? And then just to send her a receipt saying that the damn thing was discharged back in 2020. Evidence of fraud.
Getting to the truth, right? that when you go to foreclose, I mean, when you go to closure, that's when it's closed.
The debt closed. It's discharged. That's why they call it settlement and closing. So what they're saying really is Title 12, United States Code 95A, paragraph 2. That's what they're saying. You should go look that up and read that, everyone. That's what they're saying. There's your proof. Now let the traitors be exposed. Title 12, United States Code 95A, paragraph 2. And here it is here. 12 USC 95A, part 2. And I'm going to do the screen share 1 second. All right. Here it is. This is Title 12, Banks and Banking. Subsection 95A, regulation of transactions and foreign exchange of gold and silver, property transfers, vested interest, enforcement, and penalties. This is the second paragraph. This is what they're saying, y'all. 2, any payment, any conveyance, any transfer, any assignment, or any delivery of property, or any interest therein, made to or for the account of the United States. So what does that look like? And I'll walk you all through it. When you go to the 14th Amendment, it says under Section 1, and a lot of people know this, all persons born or naturalized in the United States and subject to the jurisdiction thereof are citizens of the United States and of the state wherein they reside. That's the 14th Amendment U.S. Corporate Citizenship Clause. That includes Walmart, Best Buy, Wells Fargo, M&T Bank, Sears, like our Toms always bring up Sears, all of those, including the straw man that looks like your name and the state of Maryland, etc., are all United States citizens under the 14th Amendment. Therefore, they are subsidiaries of the United States. So allegedly paying those corporations is paying the United States. All right? So now we know what we're reading. Any payment, conveyance, transfer, assignment, or delivery of property or interest therein made to or for the account of the United States or as otherwise directed pursuant to this section, or any rule, regulation, instruction, or direction issued hereunder, shall to the extent thereof be a full acquittance and discharge for all purposes of the obligation of the person making the same. That is the discharge. That's settlement. That's closing. Here it is right here. Then it says, and no person shall be held liable in any court. That means all of those venues are not courts. For or in respect to anything done or omitted in good faith in connection with the administration of or in pursuance of and in reliance on this section, or any rule, regulation, instruction, or direction issued hereunder. Then you all should read Section 3. So, when they do what is called or what appears to be a foreclosure, go into foreclosure cases on the website. After they force the person or the whoever the living man or woman is out of the property, they slap this sticker on the front door. I challenge anybody that knows about a foreclosure to go to that property to look at this sticker. Look what it says. Notice, this property has been determined to be vacant and or abandoned. Now, when you go to the term escheat in the Black's Law Dictionary, 4th or 5th edition, this is what they're saying right here. Escheat. It means a reversion of property to the state in consequence of a want of any individual competent to inherit. Escheat at feudal law was the right of the lord of a fee. See, fee, I don't charge fees. Fee is not a charge. Fee is an estate that's in reversion. To re-enter upon the same when it became vacant by the extinction of the blood of the tenant. This extinction might either be per defectum sanguinis or else per delectum tenentis, where the course of descent was broken by the corruption of the blood of the tenant. Blood is DNA. DNA holds memory and information. How do they know your blood is corrupted? By the words you speak. As a fee might be holden either of the crown or from some inferior lord, see, goes to the crown. The escheat was not always to the crown. They will call it landlord, but the landlord is still subject to the crown. The word escheat in this country merely indicates the preferable right of the state to an estate left vacant. This is what that looks like. Where we at?
That's, yeah, you know, I was housing director here. And so you're absolutely right. If the owner would stay in the property, would not, you said, leave the property, not as soon as you get that thing on the door, run out and go, we got to go. That's what you're giving it over.
Yep.
Yeah.
It sure is.
Absolutely.
And then look, for the people that think, well, how do we get property? Look what it says. And without there being anyone in existence able to make claim thereto. Able means competent. You have to claim the estate. It sounds crazy because your common sense was wrapped around color of law via animal husbandry training, what they call education. That's why it sounds bizarre to claim an estate in land that belongs to you by way of inheritance, although the definition of land includes moors. So when you claim the land, you're claiming yourself. That's supposed to be common sense to us, but it's not. It's, oh, you a squatter. You're a renegade Moor. You're a sovereign citizen. Nope. Now the traitors are being revealed. So now we're going to go to the word as turn real quick. And I know I ain't going to keep up too much time, Dr. G. I just wanted to make these points so that people can know why we have the success we have. It's not because of our personality. It's because of the principles that we have gone back to. They have to honor these principles if you're going to be in the spirit of your ancient foremothers and forefathers. And if you have the same ancient foremothers and forefathers as I, because you might not have those forefathers and foremothers, because everyone ain't the same. These are vessels. The spirit is who we truly are. Man is not the body nor the soul. That's chapter 1. And I ain't confused. Just because you look like me doesn't mean we have the same spirit or principles. So here's the word a turn. To turn over, to transfer to another money or goods, to assign to some particular use or service, to consent to the transfer of a rent or reversion, which is an escheat, to agree to become tenant. You got to agree to become tenant. How do you become tenant? In the instrument, the mortgage, the deed, or the lease agreement for apartments and condos. To agree to become tenant to one as owner or landlord of an estate. Look at this. Previously held of another. Who held the estate? You. Until you signed the instrument and involved these strangers. Or to agree to recognize a new owner of a property or estate and promise payment of rent to him. Promissory note. That's the lease agreement. For those that didn't know, that's a mortgage. And here's the whole word of a turn. It's called attornment. It says in feudal and Old English law, a turning over or transfer by a lord of the services of his tenant to the grantee of his seigniory. Attornment is the act of a person who holds a leasehold interest in land. Interest here is also interchangeable with right, title, and share, or estate for life or years, by which he agrees to become the tenant of a stranger. How many of us know the people that we paying our so-called rent and mortgages to? Don't know them, right? They strangers, right? Yeah. Look, attornment, or the remainder or reversion, of a stranger who has required the fee in the land, or who has acquired the remainder in the land, or who has acquired the reversion in the land. See how fee means all of that except cost? Oh, he charged fees. No, I don't. They charge fees. That's why you're in the position you're in, because you consented to the fee. Or the right to the rent or services by which the tenant holds. It is an act by which a tenant acknowledges his obligation to a new landlord. Wonder who the old one was. So we are giving up our own estate. You're supposed to claim it. You want to know the article to claim it under? And look, I can tell you this all day. You still got to do it. So it's not free. Still ain't free. Hold on. You got to pay the attention. I can coach you, and that ain't free neither. Unless, you Dr. G or somebody. That's free for her. Where we at? What was I going?
I think you said what was the we could claim it under
Article 22, right? Thank you. This is Article 22. It says, if an American citizen shall die in our country, let's stop right there. American is a bastardized term for Al-Moroccan. Al-Moroccan citizens are Moors. They are not citizens of the United States. If you read the DAR manual, they claim, oh, you're an American citizen in all capital letters. You're not an American citizen. You would be called a citizen of the United States, which includes Moors and citizens of, citizen of the United States. Or in other words, a citizen of America. Citizens of America include citizens of the United States, because of is the preposition that connects citizen with America. So here it says, if any more, not a subject of these dominions shall make prize of any of the citizens of America. Where we at? Here we go. Of America. It doesn't say American citizens. That's only one type of citizen. And that's the Moors. We're the Al-Moroccan citizens of the land. Of course we're the citizens of the land. We're subject to the land because Mother Earth shake right now. We ain't doing nothing about it. But we're going to shake with her. Right or wrong? Right. So getting back to 22. They're talking about you. If an American citizen shall die in our country, who's speaking? This is the Emperor of Morocco speaking. And no will shall appear. The consul shall take possession of his effects. Effects is estate. And if there shall be no consul, the effects shall be deposited in the hands of some person worthy of trust. Deed of trust. Right? Who would that be? That wouldn't be the Moors. It would be, but who would be getting the deposit of the estate? No, there's no consul. Look, there it says, and if there shall be no consul. No, not the heirs. The citizens of the United States. DNA. Yes, it's called escheat, the reversion of property to the state in consequence of a lack of any individual competent to inherit. So look, when it says an American citizen shall die in our country, there's not just one death, there's two. There's the physical death, and what's the other one? Civil death, civilly dead, right? That's via the mortgage. Or in other words, any American citizen consenting to some damn mortgage And no will shall appear. The consul takes possession of the effects, and if there shall be no consul, the effects shall be deposited in the hands of some person worthy of trust. Look what it says. Until the party shall appear who has a right to demand them. Right is short for birthright. Birthright comes by way of inheritance. Can be bought, sold, or transferred. Then look what it says. But if the heir to the person deceased be present, the property shall be delivered to him without interruption. And what does that heir have to do? Claim it. This is the article. Now you have no excuse. No one has no excuse. You want training? We offer training. Yep. So the estates is not just the land. It's also your right of travel, your right to keep and bear arms, your right to do business, all of these rights that coincide with social energy. That's a birthright. Can't be bought, sold, or transferred, but it can be abandoned, but it can also be reclaimed. All I did and others that are with me and that I'm training to do is claim their rights. And claiming isn't just, all right, I claim this right. Nah, now you go and exercise that right. And be prepared to defend it, because chapter 1 says what? Man will regain his lost estate, his heritage, but he must do it in a conflict that cannot be told in words. Yea, he must suffer trials and temptations manifold. So anybody wants your birthright, be prepared to fight. And it's a mental fight. I ain't talking physical, but you still get physically prepared too. Seems as if we all forgot that we were still in the jungle. And the divine laws of nature applies. It still applies. And nature can be beautiful. Nature can also be, the opposite of beautiful.
Absolutely. Absolutely. I think even to the extent that we seem to go off course a bit, we didn't really, because it actually was the title of the subject matter of tonight's.
No, we ain't go off course.
No. I said I may want to say may seem to some that we did.
Oh, right, yeah.
We did not know how it was going to play out, but that it played out in an actual example by what was going on. And so this has been a very, I believe, informative, and for some, at least, those that might be struggling with.
Can I say something real quick, Dr. G?
Sure.
We're not American state citizens. You cannot be a state citizen of a state that was not created for you. The state is short for estate. Those estates, like the Maryland Estate Republic, belongs to us. We chartered those states so that citizens that were, let's go to it, because we're going to purge this. We're going to, the truth going to expose people right now.
Get ready to get exposed.
Get ready. Yep. We are going to the website, and I'm clicking on study materials for Moors. I'm going down to Articles of Confederation, 1781. And I'm going to Article 4 of the Articles of Confederation. And it reads, the better to secure and perpetuate mutual friendship and intercourse among the people of the different states in this union. The free inhabitants of each of these states, paupers, vagabonds, and fugitives from justice accepted, shall be entitled to all privileges and immunities of free citizens in the several states. Okay, now Article 4 was amended under Article 4 of the Constitution for the United States of North America. Article 4, Section 2. This is the amendment. The citizens of each state shall be entitled to all privileges and immunities of citizens in the several states, of citizens in the several states. Say that again, Dr. G.
Of citizens in the several states?
Right. The several states being the states mentioned in the Articles of Confederation. So that citizenship applies to paupers, poor people, vagabonds, wanderers, and fugitives from justice, people trying to escape the debt. Who were they? They were the several citizens of the colonies that were chartered by Moors. So we, Moors, are not citizens of any state. We're the nationals of the land. Now, if you claiming to be an American citizen of a state, show your works and how you can enforce the Constitution. Because the last time I checked, citizens of the states and citizens of the United States cannot enforce the articles in that Constitution. We can. But if you want to consent to be an American state citizen, you got the right. Just know that they're not going to accept you as that, because truth don't change and it don't pass away. It ain't changed. What Drew Ali say? Since that Constitution has not been changed, what he was talking about, 1774 Articles of Association. There is no need for the application of the 14th and 15th Amendment for the salvation of our people and citizens. That's because the 14th Amendment is unconstitutional, and the citizens of the state republics gave up their republic. That's why they're claiming the 14th Amendment. But guess what? They're finding out that that's unconstitutional and void. And it got them in that situation that they're in where they're confiscating their guns now. So now they want the republic back. Only problem is the word for them, because they think that, or was here for so long, they thought this was their land. I don't know. But problem with the republic, as far as looking at it from that point of view, the word re is the first word in republic. The second word is public. The public is we the people. We the people are the Aboriginal and indigenous Moors of the land that did not adopt the principles in the Constitution and treaty. They came from our foremothers and forefathers. The state citizens adopted those principles. So when you go to, here, the preamble of the Constitution, and this does not apply to people that say we're not parties to the Constitution. No, you're not a party to the Constitution. I am. And everybody that declared their nationality and that can prove by going back to that state of mind of their ancient foremothers and forefathers, they are too. Look, it says, we the people of the United States, in order to form a more perfect union, establish justice, ensure domestic tranquility. Look, it's an insurance. Provide for the common defense, promote the general welfare, and secure. It's a security. The blessings of liberty to ourselves and our posterity. Posterity means descendants, also heirs. Do ordain and establish this Constitution for the United States of America and the citizens of the several states. So that means this Constitution is dealing with heirship and heritability. That's why you got to be tested. Because if no different than if you're claiming an inherited land and the state has the inherited land, you know how we think that we inherit land. Wait a minute, is it on?
No, it's not.
I didn't even do the screen share. Damn, I done read all of that, and y'all couldn't even see what I was reading.
Well,
right here.
Here, yeah, 1 point.
So the heirs, if you're claiming heirship status to a property or to an estate of your, let's say your mother, your grandfather, you gotta prove it. You have to prove it. All right, and it's not all the time, with DNA, but you have to prove your heirship status. The same principles apply here because this is still dealing with trust. This is a trust agreement. The so-called officers that were delegated under Articles 1, 2, and 3, they're trustees. What's the trust? Our estate. That's why our forefathers called this document, this fifth dimensional document, the supreme law of the land. So if we're talking land, we're talking estate. So they would be the trustees if they were delegated to that power. However, this is a Republican form of government per Article 4, Section 4. And this is a Republican form of government right here. It's demonstrated under the 10th Amendment. The powers not delegated to the United States by the Constitution. Those powers are the executive powers, legislative power, and the judicial power. Nor prohibited by it to the states are reserved to the states respectively or to the people. In other words, you issue writ of quo warranto, commanding them to produce the delegation of authority order from Congress per Article 3, Section 1 and 2 of the Constitution for the United States of North America as proof of their judicial power and authorization, and they don't produce it, then the power is reserved to you, the people, to exercise the judicial power over your estate. Isn't that what the de facto case is dealing with? Your estate, your right of travel, your estate, your land, your estate, your children, your estate, your grandfather, grandmother, because that's what I was dealing with. I didn't even know it was a adult protective services. Still my estate. Then you exercise the judicial power over it, because it's dealing with trust. And are you not the beneficiary of everything that I just claimed or I just asserted? Yes, you are. If you're not, then abandon it. And they will claim forfeitureship over your estate.
Well, this has been a great I don't even want to call it. This has been a great lesson. I'll call it, this has been a civics lesson. And I'm sure you give this and more on your two. Before we go, talk about, again, Tuesdays.
Yes, Tuesday. We have civic workshops. We do it on via Zoom and also here at the Everlasting Life Center, also called eLife, from 7 o'clock p.m. Eastern Standard Time to 9:45 p.m. Eastern Standard Time. And we are going to start Holy Day services real soon so that we can start to begin to study the Holy Quran of the Moorish Science Temple of America, the 101 questions for Moorish Americans, the Moorish literature, and the oral statements and prophecies of Prophet Noble Drew Ali. Because first and foremost, this is a divine and national movement. It's actually a lifestyle. And if you don't know the instructions in the divine and national movement and think you're just going to study the Constitution and treaty without the material that Noble Drew Ali left, he said the half has not been told. He told one half and put it in records. And then you got a lot of COINTELPRO agents and agent provocateurs and greedy people that want to con people out of their fiat and their energy that says, oh, the prophet ain't say this, prophet ain't say that. He said the half has not been told. So no, he didn't say that. It was up to you to study, like he said. Because when you study the Constitution and treaty, you're studying yourself. He did say that. Study, or study yourselves. And when you have studied well and would ask what to study next, I will reply, study yourselves. Because the supreme law of the land is you. Land means Moors. Study yourselves. Right? So you have to study those documents. It's for those that don't have those documents, you can find them on study materials for Moors on that webpage on the website enforcetheconstitution.org. And also Sunday, we meet and we train with the firearms. We also promote the true spirit of the Second Amendment, which is the right to keep and bear arms absence of a license or permission from someone else or a group of people that you don't know, right? You're getting the permission from people that you don't know. I can see if you have a license from the company that you're working for, yes. And 9 times out of 10, the license will be for you to have the firearm that they're providing for you. But you're getting it from the state. What the hell does the state have to do with you and your right to keep and bear arms, other than to escheat it? Because the property goes to the state, or the estate goes to the state, because you can't claim it. You're an incompetent heir. But yes, we during Sundays at the Freedom Outdoor Range and Training Academy, we're still building. For those that want to come, the mission is 25 for 13 and up, and for 12 and under is 10, even though the flyer says 25 for everyone. That's not the case. We have to update the flyer. But definitely come out, support, and we are looking for sponsors. But most importantly, everyone that comes, as I said before, has to honor the principles of our national flag, which is love, truth, peace, freedom, and justice. But definitely come on out and exercise your Second Amendment secured right to keep and bear arms and learn about it. We also promote civics there, and for everybody to come to the civic classes on Tuesdays. Okay. Yep. I can't think of nothing else right now. Oh, and we also still selling the Wardship Dispeller books that was written by Grand Sheikh Taj Tariq Bey, and I got his permission to sell it. Can't speak for others, but for everybody that's looking to be part of what we're doing, we encourage everyone to get the book and study and read the book very carefully so that you can know how important your words are, because you're supposed to control the narrative over your life, or else someone else will, and they'll use your words against you. But can't think of nothing else.
Okay. Well, I think this has been great. Thank you so much. I don't know. I mean, comments in the chat are great, and some of them are a little bit, disconcerting, but you need both sides, to see.
Hey, tell them prove it. Don't prove me, and then look, why attack somebody that's assisting the people and having results and got a record of results? Why not do what you were called to do, whatever that is? Maybe you're doing what you're called to do, right. But why not go against the true enemies, the true opponents? They ain't really the enemies; they're just the opponents. The foe is, the thoughts. But and then in turn attacking people that's assisting the people, such as yourself, Dr. G, Taj, me, and others that are assisting the people. You're showing your hand, and like I said before, soon it's just gonna be us, unless you get rounded up because you still consenting to the 14th Amendment. But now it's time for everybody to prove. Everybody will be known by the works that they put in, and the traitors will be exposed. Is there any they got any questions? They ain't no.
I mean, there's all kinds of comments, but there's.
Oh, and thank you for everyone that has been shouting out the consular assistance that I do. You've been promoting. I appreciate the free promotion, and yes, it is $5,000 for mortgages and between $5,000 to $7,000 for foreclosures, and it is a training. We don't sell paperwork. The paperwork's on the website for free.
Do you have a payment plan?
Yes, we do a payment plan, and for those that can't afford it, you still got energy. All right, so you can come to the class, study with us, go to the website, take the time to study the documents, those processes. It's the same process. It's writ of quo warranto. That is the extraordinary proceeding. Study the proceeding or the process of quo warranto. Those certified documents are on the website for stare decisis. That means to stand by a thing that's already been decided. Those Moorish Americans that are on those documents are the ones that decided for those cases to be dismissed. They made the decision. So can you. And you don't need a consul to do that for you. That's not what my job is. My job or my duty is not to make decisions for you. You got to make the decision first. You have to prove your protection first. And then you got to prove to us that you can be trusted, because this is not a public office, right? It's private. I offer public services, but it's private. And I'm running the office based off of the funds that I generate from the service I provide. Otherwise, how would I run the office? Doing everything for free. That don't make sense. And that's economically ignorant. And last but not least, I wouldn't be a consul or a consul general if I didn't know the principles of commerce and promote the principles of commerce, because that's one of the duties of consul, to promote commerce, especially commerce when it deals with international trade and foreign affairs. But people showing themselves and who they are. So
it has to be.
Right.
It has to be. You have to see. Again, I want to thank you, Consul General Lamont, for coming on and sharing.
One more last thing, Dr. G, and I promise. I wanted to do this because it's important for everybody to know. I'm going to Google, and I'm going to the term archive.
Oh, okay.
Definition. I said I was going to do this earlier, because everybody got social media, right? And you all should go on the website here and go down to research, scroll all the way down to the bottom until you see the PDF titled Silent Weapons for Quiet Wars, and start where it says, really should start from the very beginning. But here, energy. Energy is recognized as the key to all activity on Earth. Natural science is the study and sources and control of natural energy, and social science, theoretically expressed as economics, is the study of the sources and control of social energy. Both are bookkeeping systems, mathematics. Therefore, mathematics is the primary energy science, and the bookkeeper can be king if the public can be kept ignorant of the methodology of the bookkeeping. This is the methodology of the bookkeeping they're doing with social media. When you go to the definition of archive and go to the origin, the etymon, it's Greek, arche. Look at what it says. Government. Also Greek, archaea. Public records. All the way to archive. Place where records are kept. So the public record that you put, any record that you put on public, is your government. Now, everybody think about all of the records they're putting on social media right now. Anything you say can and will be used against you. You clinging to the straw man name and you putting it on a public record. Those are public records. You using your straw man name on the social media website. Drew Ali said, do all business in your free and national name. When you check that terms and agreement box, that was business. Even though it's not valid, still business, still trade, still commerce, still language, and still law of the seas. But that law of the sea, amity and commerce, comes under Article 3, Section 2 of the Constitution. So it's covered by the supreme law of the land. So you have no excuse. So Islam.
Well, we're going to go. We have gone over a little bit, but not a problem. I want to make sure that before I go, first of all, I want to thank all of the sisters who so far have responded to the call for us to join together with regard to the war. The women are ready, and we're just about ready to do what we said we're going to do, but we want to make sure that if you have not had an opportunity to send your information in, we want you to do that by texting. Let me make sure I get the banner up there, because I'm you don't know where to send it. Here we go. Sisters, let's band together and make a difference. Text WAR, your name and email to 302-345-0500. Just make sure Sisters only. Some of you brothers are sending in your information. Sisters, text your name. Need your name or your appellation and your email address. We are just about ready. We're going to be sending out. I'm trying to get to that 200 mark, brother Lamont. At least 200. We're almost there. And I know that's a small number compared to how many listen to this broadcast, these live streams, but we're about to do something big. So please send your information, text your information so that we will be able to contact you when the time comes to be a part of what we are going to be doing. To, like you said, show it and prove. We've got to do some things. And I know you've asked for some assistance from the sisters when we get some of the energy of what we're going to be doing. And we want to help not only you, but anyone who is doing what they were called, what Big Mama sent them here to do. That's who we want to assist, and we want to put all of our energies together. So again, thank you so much for
Thank you, Dr. G.
Thank you for being on. Thank you, one and all. I apologize if I offended anyone with just dealing with that issue, but I again say to those of you, you don't use somebody else's platform to be grandiose, to grandstand. You use your own platform for that. You come on here to be a part of what's, if I came on your show, I would never be in your chat disrupting your show. So, if I didn't like what you were saying, I would not be there. You know what I mean?
That's because you have honorable principles.
Right. If I didn't like what your guest was saying, I just, I would just be like, that's not for me.
Yeah, leave.
And just leave. But, some folks have an agenda, and so we know that. But thank you to those of you who really come here because you want to band together, or you want to learn something, or you want to investigate what's going on. I salute you. And again, it was not really a disruption and a distraction to deal with those head on, because that was in the title. That was absolutely a part of the title of tonight's show. So people will be tested by their works, and traitors will be revealed. So with that, until next time, I will see you on the flip side.
Peace and love.
Peace and Dr. G.